What's up? Road to Frost Night 2023, episode 3. How y'all doing? I'm sorry I missed y'all last week. I've been on the grind, a whole lot going on. For this week's episode, I'm going to get into my backstory, a little bit of my history, because I feel like the local hip hop scene is always like evolving. Like I'm always meeting new people. So there might be like a lot of people who may know me, but they don't know my history and they don't know how we got to this point. So that's what we're doing on this week's episode. I started my career as a recording artist like probably senior year in high school, which was 2004. I just gave y'all my age. There you have it. Uh, my it was coincidentally, it was a little bit after my grandmother passed away. And, I was just at the crib. I was just in my, going through it. I was very close with my grandmother. My homeboy Black was in the studio at the time, and he was like, "Yo, man, we at the studio. Like, you should pull up." I'm like, "I don't know, Black. I'm not feeling too good." And he's like, "Man, at least give us some bars over the phone." Then I gave them some bars. You know what I'm saying? I forget what crazy rap that I spit, but it was crazy enough that everybody in the studio was feeling it, and they were just like, "Yo, you should definitely come down." And I'm just like, I'm just sitting in the crib being all sad and depressed anyway. I might as well pull up. So I pull up. We knock out some bangers. Sleepy J was like the engineer, and I known him since school. But the thing is, we were kind of beefing over a chick back in school. So us being around each other was kind of interesting. But over time, me and Sleepy J became like really close, and we did our runs just like everybody else did. Some of my first shows that I remember being booked in were Jay Howe's shows. Y'all know Jesse. Jesse's pioneer. He's been around for a while. So did a couple of those shows, just kind of testing it out, kind of filling it out. And then as time went on, me and Sleepy J got even closer, and we were just like, you know what? We should start doing shows on our own. And then that's when we started doing shows at the Foo Bar. The good and cool thing about Foo Bar in that time frame, they were willing to give new promoters like opportunities. So even though we were, some young guys, they were down to let us come in and do our thing. And we went in and we did our thing. And, Foo Bar was the crib for a while. We did like a lot of different shows at Foo Bar. And in this time coming up with Sleepy J doing shows at the Foo Bar and running our rap crews and our record labels and stuff like that, it was just a true learning experience, even though like it wasn't school per se. I do kind of consider that like my my hip hop college years. You know what I'm saying? Like these are the years where like I was just getting it in, learning, and just enjoying it from a young man's perspective. And without all those years of it, without all those years of experience doing events at Foo Bar, like I truly know that I wouldn't be the promoter that I am today. You know what I'm saying? Like the reason why this works so well is because, I just have so many years as experience. But the Foo Bar era, like it was something great. It was something special. And I wouldn't be who I am today without it. House, for the rest of her life. So like, even if I was living with my mom, I was at my grandma's on the weekend, and eventually I did move in with my grandma. So the one thing that was consistent was grandma's house on Farland. So that's the reason why, like, if people ask me like where I'm from or what I claim Northside. I claim Farland on the strength of like that was the one thing that was consistent. I did like a lot of moving around, but grandma living on Farland is consistent. And my grandma was my everything. My grandma was my heart. You know what I'm saying? The home is where the heart is. So that's the reason why I always rep Farland. Down here, I live with my grandmother and my two uncles. I moved in at 13. DFS was like all in our business and shit like that. So like they were about to take me to like a group home, but my grandmother was like, I'll take them in. And that's when I moved down here officially. And it was something else, you know what I'm saying? But even though like it's Farland and it's North St. Louis, it's a rough neighborhood. I was very blessed because my grandma took good care of me and so did my two uncles. I was the baby of the family. You know what I'm saying? So like any toy that I wanted, any type of clothes I wanted to wear, like it was mine. You know what I'm saying? My grandma would give me like $500 to like buy myself some clothes for school and shit like that or whatever. So even though like I was in a rough neighborhood, I was well taken care of. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. And that's kind of the funny duality like of the situation. But you know, growing up around here, like it was nothing, even though I was blessed, I mean, it still had its problems. Like in the 90s, the height of all the gangbanging, you got movies like Menace to Society out, Boys in the Hood, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Like drive-bys is a common thing, like down here. So like in 1993, it's like you hitting the ground at least a few times a night because you're going to hear gunfire. You know, so, you know, that was a part of my childhood, just being at grandma's house, having everything I want, but still having to duck the gunfire. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just like what it was, man. Like, it was really rough down here, like on these streets. But inside of that house was nothing but love and positivity and good memories. Like, for real. Like, my grandma and my uncles were real good to me. And I'm very grateful, you know, for my time down here in the North.
And I'm a fucking freak, skiing on them cheeks, what a masterpiece, pretty so fat these hoes is hating, I drown in the pussy when names chasing, I'm outside, girl, don't keep me waiting, I dash in the pussy like Walter Payton, I smash harder, wetter than water, cut like a bomber, dicks with an offer, got that hit up in my cup, I'm stuck in that pussy like Clarence Carter, got me bustin', don't feel like you trying to pay your life, bustin' open, bustin' open, cause I'm trying to knock it, bustin' driving.
Eventually there became a time where we weren't doing events at the food bar anymore. I believe they raised the rent, or there was some type of politics going on to like where we weren't really running up in there. So from there, I was kind of on the hustle trying to find a different venue to do business with. Like I'm getting the Riverfront Times and I'm calling every venue, every little bar in the back of that paper. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to find something that would shake. You know, I wasn't really having any luck. They didn't want to take any chances on local hip hop. Things have gotten a lot better now, but back then it was tough. Like almost no spots like really wanted us in there doing anything. So after all the looking around, like one thing that was always consistent was this guy named Charlie Hustle. He really ran things out in St. Charles, but he would do things in St. Louis as well. Like he was just everywhere. Charlie Hustle was definitely the illest of that time frame, like for sure. Like he was the nigga that you wanted to link up with, like for sure. And he was just running it up. And I knew him through some mutual friends, but it wasn't until we ran into each other at court, actually, St. Charles Court, where we linked up, you know, shook hands. He booked me for a show at Just Bill's, actually, out in my neck of the woods, out there in North County. So pull up, do that. And from there, we had a relationship. Fast forward, some time goes by. He's at a club called Maxwell's out in Cottleville. So I'm looking for venues. So I pull up on him. You know, we got this relationship now. I'm like, look, bro, like, I'm looking for a place to do a show. Like, this would be perfect. Like, let me in. Charlie was such a hustler, man. Like, that, yeah, he was able to finesse me into working for him, being a promoter. And I didn't even get my date to to do shows there. He actually like finessed me into working for him as a promoter. So I always say that like I got finessed by a promoter into being a nightclub promoter, because I mean I didn't have no interest. I was just looking for a place to put some shows together, and he kind of got me to do this nightclub shit. But the thing is, I was great at it. I was kicking ass. Like I was bringing them bodies in. And that whole little era of working with Charlie at Maxwell's was great, man. It was just everything. It was just so fun. There was just so many different things going on, meeting so many different people. Even all these years of being a promoter, man, I look back at it and there's nothing else like it. And, you know, over that time, me and Charlie got real close, and, you know, dude became like family to me, like real great guy. And then we started performing at Heartbreakers. So this is when we get back on the stage again, because Charlie had a situation at Heartbreakers down on the landing. And, you know, we were performing there, you know what I'm saying? And everything was on and popping, and, you know, it was all love. Being down with Charlie Hustle and being down with Team Hustle was definitely like a learning experience. It was definitely like super fun, and you know, the whole night, like I truly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So my mom was from over there, Farland. My dad was over here on Ferris or whatever. So funny story about this house. Current day, there's a St. Louis rapper, street rapper, very popular. I ain't gonna say his name, but very popular. You guys know him. I see video of them like shooting a music video. I'm like, that house look kind of familiar. So I get the screenshot and zooming in on the address. I realize these niggas is shooting a music video in front of my grandma's old house. So I end up hitting the rapper's manager up because I'm friends with his manager. And I was like, oh, you over there on Ferris? He was like, what you know about Ferris? I Googled the address. The house was in my dad's name, which happens to be my name. I'm like, nigga, I know all about Ferris, nigga. Y'all in my... I said, I know all about it. So that's the funny thing about St. Louis, because I feel like I have an image of being like the party rapper, you know, like whatever people say about me. But shit, these street rappers is shit shooting music videos in front of the houses I grew up in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the funny thing about it, like, for real. Shout out to that rapper though. That's the homie.
Right.
So we had the situation at Maxwell's, probably going for 6 months to a year. More club politics, you know what I'm saying? Why, you know, shit ended up being stopped. And then me and Charlie, like, we kind of lost contact with each other for like a little bit. And then maybe 6 months to a year later, he pops up at Muddy Waters down on Main Street in St. Charles. This time he actually hits me up and he's like, look, I got the situation down here. I could use you. You know what I'm saying? Come fuck with it. So I come down there. I check it out. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of on the fence about it. But like as time goes on, the more I lean into it and the more like I'm like, fuck it, let's get it popping. So my job specifically back then was street promotions. Like I'm gonna be standing outside and you're coming down on Main Street trying to go wherever you're trying to go. It's on me to talk you into going where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? And I did that outside, rain, sleet, snow for like a year. You know what I'm saying? And Charlie, like as much as I love him and you know he was a great man, when it came down to getting this hustle on, he was about that hustle on. He didn't give a fuck what the weather was like. He wanted me and my guys outside making that shit work. And you know, as I look back at it, I think that's the reason why like I'm so relentless now. You know what I'm saying? Because like I was outside. I wasn't just doing this nice and cozy on my phone, nice and cozy on my laptop. I was literally outside doing these promos no matter what the weather was, trying to get people to pull up. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, these are experiences, and these are experiences that like I wouldn't trade for anything. You know what I'm saying? Because in comparison, you know what I'm saying, like doing it on your phone and doing it that way, in comparison of being outside, literally, it's easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really got to go hard for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, being in a promo game, like, it's bigger than bottles and females sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's bigger than that. Like, you really got to have that dog in you. You know what I'm saying? You really got to have a love and passion for the art of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you truly, truly do. And, you know, my time hustling at Muddy Waters on Main Street, you know, I got to see, like, what I was really made of. You know what I'm saying? And I truly believe because of those experiences, it's the reason why I've been able to survive the test of times. So Home Heights Apartments, back in the day, they used to be Crocus Lane apartments. And it was these apartments where I have some of my first memories of
living with my parents. My parents were only together for like about 7 years, the first 7 years of my life or whatever, and then they got divorced. But all of my memories come from here, and there's a lot of bad. I seen like a lot of foul shit. I saw like a lot of domestic violence. I saw weapons being used. You know what I'm saying? I saw some crazy shit living in what used to be Crocus Lane apartments. And the funny thing about that, or about these apartments in the time frame that I lived out here, which was like the early 90s, it was hot.
Really?
It was hot as fuck. It was almost as hot as the north side, because peep game, I think it was a situation where like they opened it up for like Section 8.
Okay.
And it's just like everybody from the north is coming here. You know what I'm saying? So I'll pull back up after, you know, a weekend at my grandma's. There's ambulances and fire trucks everywhere. There's always some shit going on. There's always some fights or whatever. I saw my daddy fight with a nigga like over in this parking lot over here. Cops came and arrested his ass. This shit was fucked up. This is a fucked up day, bro. Like, for real. OG was having a rough day right there or whatever. And then like it'd be shit like me and my dad will be walking, because we used to stay in this apartment over here.
Right.
We'll be walking. There was this one time we were walking home from the store, like 5 cops just fucking with him. You know what I'm saying? Just fucking with him. You know what I'm saying? Like he's dropping his change, his wallet, or whatever. Like it was a weird day. You know what I'm saying? Like for real, for real. And I actually know my dad by first name in the St. John police department or whatever. But yeah, this used to be Crocus Lane, and yeah, like it used to be hot. At first we lived in the apartments in the front, and then we moved to the apartments in the back or whatever. And yeah, that was the whole rundown or whatever. But yeah, shit used to get lit over here. I used to see like a lot of wild shit, like probably from my mother. It's probably like some of her darkest memories in this apartment complex, for real. Cause man, she was going through it over here. But yeah, Crocus Lane, now Home Heights Apartments. It looks like they've really done changed it up. It's very nice and quiet out here today.
Right.
For sure.
They don't look that bad already.
No.
So we did the Muddy Waters thing for like about a year. It was a good run. Once again, politics and bullshit. You know what I'm saying? A year. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like what it was back then. And that might be like what it is for even people to this day. If you don't have like a solid relationship locked in with your venue. Yeah, but we got about a year out of that. And at this time, around this time, I had my first child. My daughter, my oldest daughter was born in 2011. So I hit a point where like I was kind of at a crossroads with it, where like it was kind of tough for me to have the time to promote on a decent level and also be a new father at the same time. And then like when me and my BM broke up, it got even harder. You know what I'm saying? Being a single father, you know what I'm saying, and just going through all of that, you know, I didn't have it in me. So like I took some time off. I took some time off as a promoter, and I didn't do anything for about like a year or two. You know what I'm saying? I just sat down and really just kind of focused on that, you know? And at this point, time flies so fast. Like I was in my late 20s at this point, you know what I'm saying? So I take a couple years off, you know what I'm saying? You already older, you know what I'm saying, compared to, you know. So I took that time off, but like I still had a passion for it. I still had a love for it. So at that point, my homeboy LT Johnson, he was doing events at the Food Bar left and right, and also Mad Magician and places like that. He was like really getting it in. Now we had a relationship from back in the day, and he knew I was good at hosting. He knew I was good at a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? So he hit me up to host his shows. So it was through LT I was able to remain active in the music scene when I didn't have a situation on my own, when I didn't have no songs, when I didn't have no sauce, when I didn't have no nothing. LT plugged me in and just kept me active. And while hosting his shows, it was a learning experience because I had my shows that I did back in my day, but LT's shows moved at a different volume than mine. Like there was like a lot of moving pieces, and there was just like a lot of different things going on at all times. So like I was getting a lot of experience in working in high pressure situations and just managing like the time schedules and just all of the different variables that come with a local hip hop show. And I needed this experience, like that experience for sure. Like with LT, definitely gave me the tools to be like, I could be in almost whatever situation, local show wise, and I could finesse it, and I could get us through the night. You know what I'm saying? I could put it together, boom, boom, boom. Everyone's gonna get what they need, and everything's gonna be smooth. It was you know, from my time with LT, like for sure, and you know, it was cool. You know, it was cool. It was a good run. You know what I'm saying? Like LT definitely showed me a lot of love and plugged me in when I needed it.
All right, bet. So right now we are at Hickory Trace Apartments. Back in the day, these used to be D Hart Apartments, and I lived here from age 7 to 13,
Okay.
which is like the magic years of your childhood, really, or whatever. So this is where I met Chris and
Yeah.
Rachel.
Okay.
You know, and you know how that story went on. Or whatever. Chris's grandma actually lived in this apartment building behind me, and Chris and Rachel used to live in apartments over there. I was like right here in the middle. We were just like a little clique, you know what I'm saying? So like we would go around on our bicycles, going from park to park and shit like that, just all day. That's like what it was back then. Kids don't do shit like that now. Like
No.
you can't, you know what I'm saying?
No.
Like you just can't. But we used to just really be out here. And at this point, it was just me and my mom. This is after she split with my dad.
Right.
But the situation with that single mom shit, she's gone a lot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like I was home alone a lot. But luckily I had friends in the neighborhood and stuff like that. And I just had people that I naturally enjoy like being around and shit like that.
Right.
And, you know, I met Chris down here. There was a bus stop down there, and we just became like good friends. And even when Chris moved out the apartment complex, I would still watch wrestling like with his grandmother because I didn't have cable,
Right.
or whatever type shit. And that's just really like the root of our friendship. Of like we grew up in these apartments together.
Right.
He actually taught me how to rollerblade over here. Or whatever, you know, you gotta rely on your white friends to teach you how to rollerblade.
That ain't shit we do.
And the relationship just, you know, it all started here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It all started right here. And we used to fight and wrestle, play all kinds of games. We used to play a game called Killer Man. I know you used to play
Oh,
Killer
yeah,
Man. and
everybody
shit.
kill-
Wherever,
Killer Man.
yeah. You toss the ball up, you get your ass lit up. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, all of my childhood memories, all my boyhood memories. I think I got my I know I got my first BJ in this complex.
Oh, Jesus
Hickory
Christ.
Trace Apartments used to be D Hart Apartments. Yeah, I was over here for like a little minute. Mom was gone a lot, but you know, still like mostly good memories and positive vibes over here for real.
Right.
Ain't nothing too bad that I can really say about D Hart or Hickory Trace as they call it now. A good complex. To give y'all like a little bit more backstory on where we're at, this is considered St. Anne?
Nah, this is actually Breckenridge Hills.
Breckenridge Hills. So
Yeah.
we're in the Breckenridge Hills area. We were just in St. John at the other apartment complex.
Yep.
So that's where we're at in North County, and we were on the north side earlier in the city. Whatever, you know, just giving y'all the full spectrum of like where I lived and where I bounced around at. But yeah, D Hart, yeah, this is my childhood, like for real. Like I was here getting into shit. Getting into all kinds of shit.
So at this time, things kind of transitioned. Like I'm out here doing things for LT, hosting the shows and stuff like that, learning things as I go. And then my guy Block, who's actually the person that called me when he was in the studio with Sleepy J. My guy Block was like, "Yo, I want to get out here. Like I want to put some events together. Like I want to get in." And I'm just like, all right, because at this point I got the years of experience. Block is little bro, and I'm like, I'm not just gonna have you just out here by yourself. So like whatever you doing, like I'm a rock with you. You know what I'm saying? I'll run with you, bro. So you ain't out here by yourself and shit. Like we'll see what's up. So it was actually Block that really got on me to like start doing more things with him, but also like on my own as well. You know, all these other situations, I was either working with Sleepy, working with Charlie Hustle, or you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. Not really taking a leadership role, you know what I'm saying? Like, but with Block, I knew I had to be kind of hands-on with him because like this is his first time, you know, kind of stepping out with it. But also like we were partners, like we were equals, like for sure. If it wasn't for Block's passion and, you know, stuff like that, if it wasn't for Block's passion and hunger, there's a lot of things I just wouldn't have done. You know what I'm saying? And we got some experiences in. We had some good shows. We had some bad shows. You know what I'm saying? And we had a good run together. But for me, it was a situation. I was only there for a little bit just to get them up and rolling. Once it felt like things were up and rolling, you know what I'm saying? I finally reached a point where I was just like, I'm ready to start doing events more so on my own now. I've been working and collaborating with all these different people. I know what's up. And at this point, I am 30 years old. But I'm ready to jump off the porch by myself now officially. So that's when I hit up Bob at the Foo Bar and I was like, look, like I used to do events with Sleepy J here back in the day. You know, I used to also be here hosting LT shit. I'm like, you know me. This is just my first time coming to you directly. You know what I'm saying? So like, let me get some dates. Let me do something. So I got in. I got a date. My first solo event was actually a pajama jam. So the pajama jams, you know, them shits be meaning something to me. And it was a success. Like it was dope. Like it was rocking. We had a great first event. You know, me stepping out solo on my own for the first time. And then from there, I built a relationship with Bob and the Foo Bar and the artists of like, yo, Frost is going to put it together. It's going to be dope. It's going to be smooth. It's going to be fun. You know what I'm saying? Everything's going to be on point and it's going to be all love. And I was just getting it in. I was just getting it in at the Foo Bar, standing on my own 2 feet. You know what I'm saying? Like making it do what it do. You know what I'm saying? For years. And then eventually, more politics and bullshit. It's so funny, like every story that like politics and bullshit comes back into it. There was a fight. There was a little rumble outside of the Foo Bar. And because of that, Foo Bar had like made like a Facebook stat like, hey, there's not going to be no local hip hop shows here or whatever and shit like that. Now, once that happened, I had gained so much popularity and notoriety as a promoter. A lot of people were like, what about Frost? You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't never had no problems at no Frost show. So does that apply to Frost as well? Like people felt some type of way about it. And then at this point, Justin Little caught that. The head honcho of Black Market Media Group. Google it. The motherfuckers is official. He hit me up and he was like, yo, I heard about what happened at the Foo Bar. Like, if you want to come, like, fuck with us, like, over here, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm all for it. And I'm like, bet. But the dope thing about it, or the funny thing about it, was I got in contact with Bob from the Foo Bar and he told me that shit didn't apply to me. That was just something that they were just saying to flush a lot of people out. So at this point, I'm good. I'm about to transition into Pops and start doing things over there, which is a very popular venue that a lot of people love and adore. And then I still got the plug at Foo Bar as well. And at that point, I was like, I'm going to find my way to juggle both the best that I can. So what I would do, I was power focused on doing what I needed to do at Pops, but I would take somebody from my team, more so specifically Blossom, and I would just, you know, show them how to run a Foo Bar show. So we got both sides of the bridge, and we must have ran it up like that for maybe a year or two, like I feel like, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, it was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? It was a beautiful, nice run, good situation to be in. So this used to be a group home, foster home type situation. And I was here for like a few months when I was like 16. You're keeping it quick because I got hella like no trespassing signs up. I'm gonna tell y'all the story as soon as I park somewhere in a second. All right, so we're over here on Olive in the Creve Court area.
and there's this group home, a residential home they used to call it. I lived there like when I was like 16 for like a few months. I had like a suicide attempt, so they put me like in the crazy people hospital for like 5 days or whatever. And like when I was in the hospital, I was like, man, like there's so many more people that have it like worse, that have like worser conditions than me being depressed or me being anxious or whatever. Like it was in that moment where I realized that like things could be worse. So even just being in the mental hospital, I was like, I'm good. Like I'm ready to go back home. Like I'll never try to kill myself again. But that just wasn't good enough. So after they put me in the hospital, they put me in this residential home over here. And it was different because like I was being snatched like from where I was comfortable at, which was my grandmother's house, and being put in a situation where I live in, like there was probably about 50, 60 kids in there. Whatever, all ranging from the ages of like 5 to like 17.
Wow.
You know? But here's the thing about it. My first day there, we have little to no supervision. The staff is buying cigarettes for kids.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like, and my roommate was like, I don't know, like, like my roommate, like, motherfuckers was telling me wild stories about my roommate or whatever. Like it was just like it was just a situation. But I was there for 6 months, and over time you just adapt and you adjust to it,
right?
And you know, it just kind of is what it is. The good thing about this the location of it is I got to go to Parkway North.
Right.
Which out of all the high schools I went to, except for Rittner, I'm going to let Rittner have number one, but Parkway North was my favorite high school that I ever went to. Or whatever. But it was kind of surreal because like I was a popular kid and I had like a lot of friends, but I couldn't do nothing with these friends because I'm locked up in this damn residential home.
Right.
And it did feel like I was locked up. Like I couldn't go to after school activities. I couldn't go over to a friend's house from school.
Right.
Like I couldn't do none of that. Your ass was here or on the bus to get to school. You know what I'm saying?
God damn.
Or your ass is at school on the way back to the damn residential home. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. Some of us were lucky enough to have weekend passes to like where we could go home for the weekend.
Right.
As long as you stayed out of trouble, you could go home for the weekend. Or if you had a family, you even go home too.
Right.
Or whatever. So I got to go home on the weekends like a lot. Or whatever. But there's certain kids that couldn't.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like it legit like felt like I was locked up. And this is off of a suicide attempt. So it's almost like, to me, I was like, this doesn't fix anything.
Right.
This doesn't like, this isn't good. Like this isn't like where I want to be. But I adapted, I adjusted, I formed relationships. It's a boy and girls home or whatever. So just imagine everything that comes with that or whatever. Like, so that's a whole other side of the story or whatever. But I adapted, I adjusted to it, I got through it, and you know, it is what it is. But I do remember like one of the first times that I ever felt like really let down by something. It was like we would have court dates like maybe every 3 months, and for your court, the judge would make the decision if you should stay in the home that you're at or you could go home. You know what I'm saying? Just like what they should do with you or whatever. And there was this one time I just knew I was going. Everybody around me knew that I was going. Like it was just right. I was doing good in school.
Right.
I was like one of the helpful kids there. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he's definitely going. They even gave me like a little autograph book or whatever. That's what they did for kids that were on their way out. Everybody signing my book and stuff like that and shit like that. And then I get the news that they didn't let me out.
Damn.
I had to stay for at least 3 more months. And that shit just completely like deflated me like in that time. Or whatever, and they had me like on all types of antidepressants and stuff like that. So for me, like I think I clicked on something during that time frame to like where I just kind of cruised out of it. You know what I'm saying? I was kind of on airplane mode. I think I just kind of airplane mode like the last 3 months, and then they actually like let me go. But I tell you what, since then I have not tried to kill myself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's just, you know, it's bittersweet or whatever, bro. But yeah, over here, yeah, it used to be Youth Bridge, but before that, it was General Protestant right over here on Olive. I was there, I was 16. So that was like 2020. You know what I'm saying? 2020 type area. I mean 2000, year 2000, my bad. I was like, damn, nigga, that was just the other day. But yeah, around year 2000, I was in General Protestant group home, I think they called it, whatever title they called it. But it shit felt like juvie to us. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, for real.
Now, transitioning into doing more events at Pops was it was challenging at times, but also it was very easy because they're very full-fledged, they're very family-oriented. They have some really great employees. Like, it could be Monday through Friday, and there's somebody in that office at Pops putting some shit together. In comparison to other concert venues where, like, they're there when they're there. They're there whenever there's a show going on. No, like, there's always somebody at Pops putting something together, working on something. So a lot of things are in-house. The ticket printing is in-house. When I first got there, the flyers, they were making the flyers for me. It was in-house. Like, a lot of different things was, like, all in-house. So that made my job, like, a lot easier. But where it was challenging for me, or what I had to learn, was dealing with so many different people. So it's like, there's a security team, there's so many security guards, there's these people that are in the office, there's the head honcho, you know what I'm saying? And there's other important people that you're just kind of meeting as you go. And then also, like, it's just a lot of people. It's just a lot of employees just in general. So meeting everybody may have been, like, the most challenging part, like, honestly. So, like, what I would do is, like, I will host all of my shows at Pops for, like, the first year. I will host them myself. So that way everybody was just familiar with the face and the name. You know what I'm saying? Because there was times where I was coming up in there and, like, maybe the security guard didn't know me or some shit like that. So I'm like, I'm just going to be on this stage for this first year. You know what I'm saying? Just hammering that name in. And, you know, I got to knowing everybody, and it's love. It's love and it's family over there. And I'm truly grateful. I'm truly grateful to be down with this venue. I'm truly grateful for these opportunities. I'm truly grateful for these situations. After so many years of doing things at Pops, I was able to find my way into the Oz too. So I do events at the Oz as well. And we're 4 Frost Nights in, on top of a lot of different other events as well. I'm still Black Market Media Group. There's so many big national shows that we done worked on together. It's just a hell of a ride. You know, it's just a hell of a ride. It's a blessing. And, you know, this is where it's at, man. Like, I'm an LA Laker fan. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of feel like Pops are like the Lakers of the concert venues. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just got that certain shine. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just something about it. That building, that parking lot, it just has a magic to it. And I'm grateful to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's truly a blessing. This is good. You know what I'm saying? Throughout my whole journey in this music industry, you know, it led me to here. And I love it here. I love it here. It's great. It's a blessing to be a part of this family and a part of this organization.
Shit on my back.
Comedy Eat Shave Day, and it's going down on February 11th. Yes, I'm talking Frost Night. Now the doors open at 7. The show is going down at 7:30 p.m. You do not want to miss it, okay? I'm telling you. Plus, it's hosted by your girl right here. You know we're gonna have a blast. It's gonna be a movie. Show up and show out. Grab your tickets right now.
We some real niggas in this bitch. We some rich niggas in this bitch. We some real niggas in this bitch. We some rich niggas in this bitch. Sit your ass down. Sit your ass down. Sit your ass down. Just don't mess with your leather. Diamonds on my neck. She say that I'm well put together. Ice rolls on my wrist. Got me changing the weather. Singing like a lullaby. Night sleeping forever, baby. Me and my niggas, we outside. Ready to slide, no cha-cha. And we be smoking that cha-cha. They call me Don like Dada. I get the spinach like Popeyes. I knew it was a go and we left out.
gotta watch it on the low. I know they plotting, trying to see how they gon' stop it. I'm stepping on anything, ain't no way you better know it.
Back and make it flip, I done did that. If it ain't about the chips, cut the chit chat. Young nigga paper chasing bitches, dig that. And all the real niggas know I'm stating big facts. Look, big facts, baby. Headed to the top, I'm going fast, baby.
Hey, they say I'm too young, cause I get up on the beat and have fun. Wait, they told me give up, but now I'm blowing up like Kim Jong-un. Wait, they say I'm too young, cause I get up on the beat and have fun. Wait, they told me give up, but now I'm blowing up like Kim Jong-un.
Walk through the trap like a boss. Money so long, get lost. No draws. In a Maybach like Rick Ross. I'm a boss.